The Grand Chamber of the Galactic Council hummed with tension as representatives from 200 species shifted uncomfortably in their seats. The massive crystal dome above showed the swirling colors of deep space, but today no one admired the view. At the center podium, Speaker Tom stood quietly, his weathered face showing no emotion as he read the report in front of him. The old Admiral's Space Force uniform, decorated with service medals from 30 years of defending Earth, seemed to gleam under the chamber's lights. "Let me make sure I understand this correctly," he said, his voice carrying across the silent chamber. "The Bright Ones have been operating secret facilities where they've been keeping human children." The Bright One representative, a tall figure glowing with internal light, stepped forward. "We must study the human young. They show signs of abilities that could threaten galactic peace. Our research is necessary for everyone's safety." Tom didn't respond immediately. Instead, he did something that confused every alien in the chamber. He started laughing. It wasn't a happy laugh. It was the kind of laugh someone makes when they realize just how badly things are about to go wrong. "How many?" he asked, wiping tears from his eyes. "How many children have you taken?" The Bright One's glow flickered slightly. 42 specimens across 3 research stations. The chamber erupted in shocked whispers. Even species that had little contact with humans knew this was dangerous territory. The Rock People's representative actually started backing away from the Bright One section. 42 children, Tom repeated, shaking his head. "Do you have any idea what you've done? Any idea at all?" "We took all necessary precautions," the Bright One insisted. "The specimens are contained in." "They're not specimens." Tom's fist crashed down on the podium. "They're children. Human children. With human parents. Parents who are probably already figuring out what happened to their missing kids." The Bug Folk representative raised all 4 hands. "Perhaps we should consider emergency evacuation protocols for systems near human space." "It's already too late for that," Tom said. He pressed a button, and a hologram appeared above the chamber. It showed a map of known space, with tiny dots representing ships. As they watched, human vessels across the galaxy started going dark, vanishing from standard tracking systems. "What's happening?" The Bright One's glow had dimmed considerably. "What's happening is that every human ship captain just got the news. Every human colony just found out. Every human parent in the galaxy now knows that someone has been taking our children." Tom's voice was oddly calm now. "And they're all about to show you why taking human children is the worst mistake any species can make." The chamber's emergency alerts started flashing. A mechanical voice announced, "Warning. Multiple unidentified vessels detected entering restricted space. Warning. Communication networks experiencing widespread disruption. Warning. Defense grid compromises detected in sectors." "You don't understand humans very well, do you?" Tom asked the Bright One. "You saw our technology, our cities, our ships. You studied our biology and our weapons, but you never bothered to learn the most important thing about us." "And what is that?" The Bright One's voice trembled slightly. "That nothing in this galaxy is more dangerous than a human protecting their child." "Nothing." Tom straightened his uniform. "I suggest you return the children immediately. All of them. Unharmed. It might be the only way to prevent what's coming." The Bright One's glow flickered rapidly. "Are you threatening us? We are more advanced than." "I'm not threatening you," Tom interrupted. "I'm trying to save you, because right now there are parents out there discovering their children are missing. And when human parents lose their children..." He looked around the chamber, meeting the eyes of every species present. "Well, let's just say there's a reason why most species in this room already have protocols about never, ever harming human young." The emergency alerts grew louder as more reports flooded in. The galaxy was about to learn why humans were considered one of the most dangerous species in known space, not because of their weapons or technology, but because of what they would do to protect their children. The storm was coming, and nothing could stop it now. The Galactic Council chamber had fallen into chaos. Species from across the galaxy argued loudly. some demanding immediate action, others calling for evacuation. Through it all, Admiral Tom stood calmly at the podium, watching as the Bright Ones finally began to understand their terrible mistake. Perhaps, the Rock People's elder rumbled, his crystalline form catching the light. We should explain to our misguided friends why their actions have doomed us all. Tom nodded and activated the chamber's historical archives. Let me tell you a story, he began, his voice cutting through the noise. 300 years ago, pirates from the Dust Rings tried to raid a human colony. They took 6 children as hostages. The holographic display showed an ancient recording. Small ships, barely armed, chasing down massive pirate vessels. Those aren't military ships, the Bright One observed. No, Tom agreed. Those are the parents, regular civilians, miners and farmers. They stripped their ships' life support systems to power makeshift weapons. They flew into the asteroid field that had killed professional pilots. Of the 27 parents who went in, only 8 survived. He paused, letting that sink in. But they got the children back, every single one. The bug folk representative chittered nervously. We have similar records. 2 of our trading posts once accidentally detained human younglings during a customs dispute. The humans disabled our entire defense network with farming equipment. More species began sharing their own stories. The cloud swimmers told of human parents swimming through toxic atmospheres without protection to reach their children. The deep minds spoke of parents fighting through neural attacks that should have destroyed their minds. You don't understand, the Bright One protested. We're studying them because they're dangerous. Their young show signs of extraordinary abilities when threatened. They can. Of course they do, Tom interrupted. Every human child knows that if they're in real danger, their parents will come for them, no matter what stands in the way, no matter the cost. He brought up another display, this one showing current sensor readings. Human ships were moving in patterns that made no sense, appearing and disappearing from scanners. Did you really think we showed you everything we could do? Tom asked quietly. That parents working in ship design wouldn't build in hidden capabilities. That parents in your computer networks wouldn't leave themselves back doors. That parents in your research facilities wouldn't have ways to find their children. The Bright One's glow had dimmed to almost nothing. But we're more advanced. Our technology. Let me be very clear, Tom said, his voice hard. Humans didn't become a spacefaring species because we wanted to explore. We did it because we needed to be able to reach our children, no matter how far away they might be. The chamber's main screen lit up with new warnings. Human vessels were appearing in restricted zones. Communication networks across 3 sectors had gone dark. We've tracked those facilities of yours for years, Tom continued. We knew about your interest in human children. We just hoped you were smarter than this. Now every human in the galaxy is moving to get those kids back. What can we do? The Bright One asked, finally understanding the depth of their error. Return the children, all of them, immediately, and pray that their parents are feeling merciful. Tom straightened his uniform. Because right now, you've triggered something we call Mama Bear Protocol. The chamber fell silent. What is Mama Bear? Someone asked. It's an old Earth reference, Tom explained. Mother bears are known for being absolutely unstoppable when protecting their cubs. Now imagine that response, but with spaceships and advanced technology. And it's not just the parents you need to worry about. Every human who hears about this will react as if those were their own children. The emergency alerts were screaming now. Reports were coming in of human ships moving faster than should be possible, appearing where they couldn't be. The storm wasn't coming anymore. It was here. On the peaceful colony world of New Haven, Lisa walked into her daughter's bedroom for the morning wake-up call. The room was empty. The bed was made, but something felt wrong. Very wrong. She checked the bathroom, the kitchen, the yard. No sign of 8-year-old Amy. The house computer showed no exits during the night, but Lisa knew. The way every parent knows, something had happened to her child. Within minutes, she had contacted other parents in the colony. 5 more children were missing. No signs of forced entry. No evidence of how they were taken. Just empty beds and that horrible, gnawing certainty that their children were gone. The colony's warning sirens began to wail. "This is an emergency broadcast," the colony AI announced. "Multiple reports of missing children are being confirmed across human space. Initial evidence suggests involvement of non-human entities. All citizens, please remain calm and..." The message cut off as Lisa and the other parents were already moving. They didn't need instructions. They didn't need official protocols. Their children were missing, and nothing else mattered. In the colony shipyard, Lisa found dozens of other parents already preparing vessels. No one spoke much. They didn't need to. Every parent there shared the same cold fury, the same singular purpose. "Got something," called out Mark, one of the colony's computer specialists. His hands flew over his console. "I've been monitoring deep space frequencies. The bright ones. They've been taking our kids for research." The hangar fell silent. "How many?" someone asked. 42, spread across 3 research stations. Lisa felt something change inside her. The fear and worry transformed into something else. Something ancient and dangerous. Something that had driven human parents to cross oceans, climb mountains, and walk through fire to reach their children. Her ship's computer chimed. New code was flooding in from somewhere, unlocking capabilities she'd never known existed. Looking around, she saw other ships lighting up with the same hidden protocols. "They really thought they could take our children," she said quietly. "They really thought we wouldn't find them." Her console displayed a message. "Mobilize protocol activated. All registrations lifted." Across human space, the same scene was playing out. Parents discovering empty beds, ships powering up with hidden capabilities, military vessels going dark as their crews. Parents and non-parents alike abandoned their posts to join the search. In orbit above New Haven, Lisa's ship joined a growing fleet of civilian vessels. Their computers synchronized automatically, sharing data, coordinates, and capabilities that no alien species knew humans possessed. Her communication system crackled. "This is Admiral Tom broadcasting on all frequencies. The Galactic Council has been informed of the situation. The Bright Ones have been ordered to return all children immediately." However, there was a pause. Their response was unsatisfactory. Lisa's hands tightened on her controls. "Therefore," Tom continued, "as of this moment, I am officially activating the reclamation fleet. All participating vessels, you have full authorization. Find our children. Bring them home. Whatever it takes." The ships around New Haven began to move in perfect formation. Similar fleets were forming around every human colony and settlement. The Bright Ones were about to learn why every spacefaring species had warnings in their first contact protocols about human children. "They took our babies," Lisa whispered, inputting coordinates for the nearest Bright One facility. "They took them from their beds while they were sleeping." Her ship's engines hummed with power that shouldn't have been possible in a civilian vessel. But then, she wasn't just a civilian anymore. She was a mother looking for her child. And like countless human parents before her, she would tear apart the galaxy to get her daughter back. The fleet jumped to faster-than-light speed, leaving New Haven behind. The hunt had begun, and the Bright Ones were about to discover that all their advanced technology was nothing compared to the fury of human parents searching for their children. The storm was no longer coming. It was everywhere. The Bright Ones' military command center was in complete disarray. Their most advanced tracking systems couldn't make sense of what they were seeing. Human ships were appearing and disappearing at will, moving in ways that defied their understanding of physics. "Impossible," muttered the chief defender, his glow flickering with stress. "Their vessels are exceeding all known capabilities. These readings cannot be correct." On the main screen, human ships moved in perfect coordination across the galaxy. Military analysts from a dozen species watched in growing horror as their worst fears were confirmed. Humans had been hiding their true capabilities all along. "We're detecting energy signatures we've never seen before," reported a junior officer. "Their civilian ships are carrying advanced cloaking technology. Military-grade weapons systems are appearing in mining vessels. They're all changing." The chief defender received a priority message from their most secure research facility. "Main facility defenses are failing. Our systems are being accessed from within. We're detecting thousands of infiltration points that appear to have been dormant for years." Years? The chief defender's glow pulsed in alarm. "Check the source codes." The results made his glow dim even further. Parents. Human parents working as programmers, engineers, and maintenance staff had been quietly writing backdoors into every system they touched, always preparing, just in case someone took their children. In human space, the reclamation fleet grew larger by the minute. Lisa's ship, now part of the main assault group, moved in perfect sync with thousands of others. Their computers shared a single purpose, coordinating their movements with an efficiency that shocked alien observers. "Target location confirmed," announced the fleet's eye. "Research facility Alpha detected. Defensive capabilities analyzed. Weaknesses identified." Lisa watched as tactical data flowed across her screen. The Bright One's facility was supposed to be impregnable, protected by technology far beyond human capabilities. But they hadn't counted on human preparation. "All ships, execute Pattern Delta," ordered the fleet commander. "Remember our primary objective. The children must not be harmed during the assault." The fleet split into smaller groups, each taking up positions that seemed random to outside observers. But every human parent knew their role. They had trained for this, prepared for this, built their ships for this very purpose. Back in the Bright One's command center, alarms screamed as more systems failed. "We're detecting temporal anomalies," shouted an officer. "The humans. They're using technology we thought was theoretical. Their ships are phasing between space-time." The chief defender watched helplessly as human vessels appeared inside their defensive perimeter. Somehow, they had weapons that shouldn't exist, shields that shouldn't be possible, and a level of coordination that suggested years of planning. "Send the message," he ordered finally. "Tell the Council we need immediate assistance. Tell them." The communication systems went dead. Every screen in the command center lit up with a single message: "Return our children." In the fleet, Lisa's ship moved into attack position. Her console showed readings from the facility, life signs, security systems, and most importantly, the location of holding cells. Somewhere in there was her Amy, and nothing would stop her from reaching her daughter. "All ships, prepare for final approach," came the order. "Initiate the breach protocol." The fleet's ships began to glow with energy that the Bright One's sensors couldn't comprehend. Something was building, something that went beyond normal physics, powered by the one force the aliens had never properly understood: a parent's need to protect their child. "For our children," Lisa whispered, engaging her ship's hidden systems. The fleet moved as one, their ships transforming into something new, something that had been built piece by piece over years by parents who knew this day might come. The Bright Ones were about to learn why every species in the galaxy had legends about human parents, why even the most advanced civilizations feared the day they might have to face the full fury of humanity protecting its young. The storm wasn't just gathering anymore. It was about to break. Deep within Research Facility Alpha, the Bright One's lead scientist rushed through sterile corridors, his glow erratic with panic. Behind him, security systems failed one by one, as human codes awakened from their years-long sleep. "Begin emergency protocols," he shouted. "Move the specimens to the secure level." But as his assistants tried to access the transport systems, every screen in the facility flickered to life with the same message: "We see them. We see what you've done." The security feeds showed images from throughout the facility. 42 holding cells, 42 children, each connected to machines that probed and tested and measured. The truth the Bright Ones had tried to hide was now exposed for all to see. In orbit above, Lisa's ship received the first images from the facility's internal cameras. Her hand shook as she watched the feed. Children strapped to tables. Medical equipment everywhere. Notes about testing stress responses and measuring survival instincts. They'd been experimenting on them. She transmitted to the fleet. Her voice was deadly calm. "They've been hurting our babies." The response was immediate. The fleet's formation tightened. Energy readings from the ship spiked to levels that shouldn't have been possible. Parents who had been maintaining professional discipline felt something snap inside them. Inside the facility, the lead scientist received an urgent message from the Galactic Council investigation team. They had found the other facilities. They had seen everything. "This goes beyond research." The Council's message read, "You've violated every law of sentient rights. The humans know everything now. May whatever gods you believe in have mercy on you, because the parents will not." The scientist's glow flickered as he accessed the facility's deep records. Files upon files of tests, experiments, observations. They had thought they were being clever, studying human children to understand why humans were so dangerous. They never realized they were creating the very danger they feared. In the fleet, Lisa's ship computer displayed new information as the facility's databases were cracked open. She saw her daughter's file, saw the tests they had run, saw the pain they had caused. Something changed in that moment. The last restraints of civilization fell away. This wasn't just about rescuing their children anymore. This was about justice. "Fleet Command," she transmitted. "I found something. Their systems weren't just studying our children. They were trying to replicate human protective instincts. They wanted to understand why we're so dangerous when our young are threatened." "Well," replied the fleet commander, "they're about to get a very close look at exactly why." The facility's defenses continued to crumble. Human code that had been hiding in their systems for years came alive, spreading like a virus through their networks. Every parent who had ever worked on their systems, every human who had ever touched their technology, had left a piece of this trap behind. In the council chamber, representatives watched in horror as the true extent of the Bright One's actions was revealed. This wasn't just a research project that had gone too far. This was systematic torture of children, all in an attempt to understand and replicate human protective instincts. They actually thought, Admiral Tom said quietly, that they could study what makes us protect our children by hurting our children. They thought they could measure a parent's love with machines. The Bright One's lead scientist stared at his screens as the facility's last defenses failed. Human ships were moving into their final attack positions, but it was the message appearing on every screen that truly terrified him. "We are what you wanted to study. We are what you wanted to understand. We are human parents coming for our children. And now you will learn why every species in the galaxy fears harming human young." The storm wasn't just about rescue anymore. It was about reckoning. And it was here. 1 month after the rescue, the Galactic Council chamber was packed for a historic session. Representatives from every spacefaring species sat in tense silence as Admiral Tom took the podium, standing beside Lisa and Amy. "Today," Tom began, "we establish new laws. Not laws of punishment, but laws of protection. The children of every species, from every world, will be protected by the same technology that saved our own." The rescue drones, now evolved into an interconnected network, had spread across the galaxy. They formed an invisible shield around schools, homes, and anywhere young ones gathered, protecting children of all species. Lisa stepped forward, Amy holding her hand tightly. "My daughter was one of the 42. Today, she helps teach other children how to use the new protection systems. Because that's what humans do. We protect, we teach, and we help others grow." The Bright One's representative, now dimmed with humility, rose to speak. "We sought to understand human protective instincts through science. Instead, we learned through experience. The network you've created, it protects our young ones too." "Of course it does," Amy said, her voice clear in the chamber. "All children deserve to be safe." The council displayed holographic images of the new protection network in action. Rescue drones had already prevented 3 attempts to harm children of different species. Each time, they had acted not with violence, but with precise, protective intervention. The reclamation fleet has been reformed, Tom announced. It's now the Guardian Fleet, crewed by parents from every species. Its mission is to maintain and expand the protection network, ensuring no child ever faces what ours did. The chamber screens showed the new fleet, ships of all designs, crews of all species, working together to monitor and maintain the galaxy's new defensive web. At its heart was a simple truth. The desire to protect the young transcended species boundaries. Lisa touched a control, and the chamber filled with soft light. The technology we developed to save our children now serves all children. The hidden capabilities we built into our ships are now shared knowledge. Because the greatest power isn't in keeping secrets, it's in protecting those who need protection. The Bright Ones had been transformed. Their facilities, once places of research and experimentation, were now centers of learning. Children of all species came there to understand each other, to learn about different cultures, and to ensure that fear would never again lead to harm. We established today the Galactic Children's Protection Act, Tom declared. Any action that threatens the young of any species will trigger an immediate response from the protection network, not with violence, but with the same protective determination that human parents showed. Amy stepped forward again. The other children, and I have a message for the council. She pressed a button, and images appeared of the rescued children, now recovered and strong, standing with children of other species. We forgive the past, but we protect the future. The chamber erupted in applause. Species that had once feared humans now understood them better. The force that made them dangerous, their protective instinct, was the same force that made them the galaxy's greatest guardians. Let it be recorded, Tom concluded, that from this day forward, the children of all species are under the protection of every parent, of every world. We move forward not in fear, but in unity. Lisa looked down at her daughter, remembering the terror of finding her missing, the determination of the rescue, and now the pride of seeing her help build a safer galaxy. This is who we are, she said softly. Not just humans protecting humans, but all of us protecting all children. The chamber lights dimmed, and the stars above shone brightly through the crystal dome. Somewhere out there, the protection network watched over millions of young ones, powered by the one force that had proven stronger than any weapon, a parent's love. The storm had passed, but it had left behind something greater than fear. It had left behind hope, and the promise that no child would ever face the darkness alone again. The galaxy had learned its lesson, and the children were safe at last. The Bright One's homeworld glowed beneath its 3 suns as the human fleet emerged from hyperspace. But instead of opening fire, the ships held position, forming a perfect sphere around the planet. Inside Research Facility Alpha, the lead scientist watched in confusion as his sensors detected something unexpected. The human ships weren't charging weapons. Instead, they were releasing millions of small objects, each no bigger than a hand. "What are they doing?" he demanded, his glow pulsing with anxiety. "Where are the weapons?" Lisa sat in her ship's command chair, watching as the rescue drones deployed. Each one contained a piece of every parent's determination, built with technology they had hidden from the galaxy. The drones moved like a silver cloud, spreading across the Bright One's defenses. "You wanted to study human protective instincts," she transmitted to the facility. "Now you'll see them in action. We don't just destroy, we save." The drones reached the facility's outer walls. Instead of attacking, they began to change, transforming into something the Bright Ones had never seen before. Each drone split into smaller units, replicating themselves using materials from the facility's own structure. "Impossible," the lead scientist whispered. "This technology, this level of coordination." Inside the facility, the children felt the vibrations as the drones worked. In her holding cell, Amy looked up as the ceiling began to shimmer. The drones were converting the very walls into more of themselves, spreading through the facility like a living thing. The Bright One's guards fired their weapons, but the drones simply absorbed the energy, using it to replicate faster. They weren't destroying. They were transforming, turning the facility's defenses into a rescue system. You see, Lisa's voice echoed through the facility's speakers. While you were studying us, we were learning too. Every parent who ever worked on your worlds, every human who touched your technology, we all left something behind. Not to destroy, but to save. The drones reached the holding cells. Instead of breaking through, they simply passed through the walls, their advanced technology making solid matter permeable. Each drone surrounded a child in a protective bubble, monitoring vital signs and beginning medical treatment. We are not monsters, Lisa continued as her daughter was lifted gently into a rescue bubble. We don't want to destroy you. We just want our children back, and we will move heaven and earth to protect them. The Bright One's leaders watched in stunned silence as their most secure facility was systematically transformed. The drones weren't just rescuing the children. They were downloading all research data, erasing dangerous experiments, and leaving behind new security protocols. This, Admiral Tom's voice joined the transmission, is why we are considered a guardian species. Not because we destroy, but because we protect. Not just our own, but all children. The rescue bubbles began moving through the facility's walls, carrying their precious cargo back to the waiting ships. Each child was monitored, protected, and comforted by technology that had been built by thousands of parents working together. In her ship, Lisa watched as the rescue bubble carrying Amy approached. The facility's walls parted like water, allowing the bubble to pass through harmlessly. When it reached her ship, Lisa was waiting in the medical bay. The bubble dissolved, and Amy fell into her mother's arms. "Mom," she whispered, holding tight. "You came." "We all came," Lisa replied, tears in her eyes. "Every parent in the galaxy came for you. For all of you." Above the Bright One's homeworld, the human fleet began to withdraw, their mission accomplished. They left behind not destruction, but understanding. The drones remained, transformed into a new defense system, one that would protect all children of all species from harm. The lead scientist watched them go, his glow dim with realization. They had wanted to understand human protective instincts, and now they did. Not through experiments and tests, but through witnessing the lengths to which parents would go to protect their young. Not with destruction, not with violence, but with an unstoppable determination to save their children. The storm had passed, and the galaxy would never be the same.